Wait a second. Boom. Hey Jeri, how you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Yeah, all right. Not too bad, thank you. Not too bad. Firstly, thank you for making a bit of time for today. So, today we're doing Climb the Ladder with Jeri Williams. And the whole idea of what we're doing today, Jeri, just to remind you, we want to do something for our finance community. So many people are obviously in difficult situations at the moment, all have aspirations to become an FD, own their own practice, or go through the ranks, i.e. climb the ladder, which is why today we're really interested to understand a little bit about your background, what you're about, and all that sort of stuff, and your journey and how you got to where you are now.
Yeah.
So thanks again for making a bit of time.
That's
So
okay.
what we'll do to start with, if that's all right with you, Jeri, is just tell the fans out there a bit about yourself, because when I think of Jeri Williams, I think of LinkedIn, I think of 30,000 plus followers, and then you've got your own practice that seems to be going very, very well. And I think recently you've also released a book, or it's on its way.
It's on its way, yeah. It's on my to-do list. I'll get it finished soon at some point.
So just talk a bit about, I suppose, from your situation now then. So just explain about your role right now, Jeri, if you don't mind, working for Smooth Accounting. Tell us what you do.
What do I do? So now I run the business. So I'm very much kind of at the strategic level. I manage the team of staff, and I do all the marketing and sales myself. And just generally, run the business, work on the business rather than in it. And
I suppose with your background, and I'll dig into that later, but in terms of your practice then, just tell us a little bit about Smooth Accounting, because it seems like you've got it's quite a modern and quite a different sort of practice compared to perhaps your more traditional ones.
Yeah, no, definitely. We would try to be. We are, we do class ourselves as a digital firm. So, everything we do centres around technology in some way, shape or form, which enables us to act for clients regardless of their kind of geographic location. So clients, throughout the country and throughout the world, we act for, which is great. It opens up lots of opportunities, even partnerships with accountants in Australia and New Zealand that need help for their UK clients, and we will take on that role. So it's, being digital really helps us do that. So gone are the days of kind of people bringing in a bag full of receipts and stuff. We're very far from that now. All our clients are on set fees, monthly direct debits, and they know where they stand. We haven't got any of this hourly billing. The staff don't have to do timesheets. So we see ourselves as much more of a modern practice for those reasons. And we don't post stuff to our clients. We have very quick turnaround times in terms of our communication with clients. No one's left waiting for a reply to an email or a phone call. That just doesn't happen here. And I think that all of those things kind of set us apart a little bit from maybe the more traditional firms. Not that there's not a place for those, but I think our target market is much more the entrepreneurs, millennials, tech savvy clients, those that are growing businesses, and we can grow with them. So yeah.
Sounds good. And also as well, I've got to say this, the videos, I've got to bring it up. I know this is more about how you have, but the LinkedIn videos have always been quite useful. And again, to me, I think that's where, when I look at some other accountancy firms, like you say, they've all got their place. I feel like where you're kind of carving your own kind of way is actually putting it in a language that people can understand. A lot of people like myself, small business owners, I can't claim to be an accountant. Yes, we recruit them and stuff like that, but I'm not an accountant. Whereas you guys will obviously come in, but I think that fresh approach seems to be doing very well by you guys, and it's quite cool. I didn't realise you had people all over. I thought it was just UK, but you have a few kind of international clients as well by the sound of it.
Yeah, no, definitely. The videos have been great, and there's definitely going to be more of those coming out soon. It's something I did kind of as a little bit maybe of an experiment a few years ago, and they really were made for Facebook, and then as time's progressed, they're definitely much more made for LinkedIn now, and YouTube, and Instagram. So we don't really market that much on Facebook at all anymore. Times changed and we've changed with it. So the videos are great. Even now, republishing the ones that I had made years ago, they still get loads of views, loads of interaction, loads of reach. And it's great because they are professionally made videos. They are very well edited, and a lot of thought and time and effort goes into making them. It's not just let me video myself on my iPhone. Not that there's anything wrong with that, because I do that too. And there's definitely a place for that as well. But I like the polished ones too, because they seem to get people's attention, and you're able to kind of give value and explain things, and talking about why electric cars are useful and various different things about accountancy, and then just making funny ones, which is great for brand awareness, and mixing it up and having all different kinds of videos made.
Yeah, and it does work. It does work. That's, I think that's how I started kind of talking to you and getting in touch, because it's different, and also, like I say, people understand it, and it's when you chuck a bit of humour in there, it always just makes it a bit appealing, and it's not just accountants that follow you either, which just says it all. So,
definitely.
So I suppose your role would have probably evolved over time, but I suppose right now, from a day-to-day side of things, just so people understand kind of what it is that you do, other than LinkedIn, what do you find you spend most of your time doing at the moment?
So usually, talking about my average day.
I
will, a day in the life of Jeri. I will come in. I will clear my emails down, then we'll have a group Zoom with the team for about half an hour, go through everybody's work, what everybody's working on, make sure no one's got too much or needs any help, and we'll make sure everyone's working on the right things. Then I will probably do a bit of social media stuff. Then I will respond to new client inquiries, or hold those meetings, or follow up with proposals, or follow up with clients that we've sent proposals to. Then I will do some onboarding work for clients that have signed up. I will liaise with my client managers to make sure they're okay, or if there's anything, they usually have various things they want to chat through with me. Then I'll probably look at some system stuff, look at our targets and our financials, make sure my accounts are up to date because they're done on a daily basis. Look at the forecast the rest of the year, and in amongst that, it's constant emails, queries, phone calls, non-stop, and all the other things that come with running a business, HR things, setting up new starters, recruitment, as all of those things, everything else that comes with running a business in amongst that as well.
It's just wearing so many hats. It's easy as well to just go, well, you're an accountant, you'll probably be just doing year-end, month-end and reports, that sort of stuff, but it's far from it.
It's literally there's just so many things, you just can't even... I come in the morning and I look at my to-do list and I think, right, today I'll do that, and those things never get done. A million other things get added to the list, and I'm just like, things crop up, and existing clients will need additional support. And although I'm not client facing anymore, my client managers are, usually I will support them in giving that service. So my time is taken up helping the team with those kind of things.
Yeah, and I suppose from your side, Joe, just on that note, when it comes to your time, because obviously you're very busy, do you find, and again this is something that I always struggle with, do you find that you check in on the weekend, check your emails, or do you keep that really separate?
My emails are always on my phone, so I can't turn them off. I just can't. But it's not so bad now because I'm not client facing, that everything I do now, it can wait.
Yeah.
So usually I'm fine. The weekends I'll make sure I don't really do any work. I'd only do any work on the weekend if it was critical. And at the moment we are a little bit critical in terms of workload. So I am working late in the evenings and things like that.
When you went to college and went to uni, I don't want this to feel like I'm interviewing you as such, but I'm not trying to prospect you for a job. It's more about just understanding. Was it at college, at uni, were they accountancy focused degrees or? Yeah,
at college I did maths and business studies. At uni I did a business studies degree, so there's elements of accountancy in there. I kind of knew what grades I needed to get to sort of get into my degree, and then what job I needed to get into the accountancy qualification. So I just kind of literally just went through it and did it.
So you went to uni, you did a businessy sort of degree. Did you find that helped you with exemptions and continue going on to that path with your ACA?
No, it didn't at all. I did everything from scratch. But I think when I did my degree, it was important to me to do business studies because I felt like I'd done it at college and it was a nice progression, but also it gave me a little bit of an understanding of all the areas of business, which I thought was important, because should I change my mind and not want to do accountancy, at least I'm not pigeonholed.
Yeah.
But by doing that, I can still move into the accountancy profession. So I kind of did it as like a safety net. Yeah.
And with the firm that you went into, was it like a trainee sort of program? Was it one of those ones where you're up against loads of grads kind of eager to get in there?
Yeah, it kind of was. Yeah, I joined like quite a corporate firm for about a year, where I was supposed to do my training and my qualification. And then that didn't really happen. And then I ended up leaving there and joining another practice, which is a practice I stayed at for like 10 years, where I qualified and, you know, stayed longer term. So yeah.
And I guess, Jeri, with your studies then, it sounds like you almost done almost like a trainee sort of package to a degree and got that kind of tied up. How did you find working and studying? Because I genuinely do take my hat off to accountants who are doing it, because I always ask, you know, where are you at with it? When do you anticipate qualifying? And actually I feel a bit guilty asking, because I can't think of anything more kind of difficult than going to work, talking about numbers, and then coming home, revising about numbers, and then doing more homework and then exams. And it is full on. Like, I do take my hat off to it. How did you find it all?
Yeah, it's really hard. Really, really hard. Like, that's the only way I can explain it. It's really full on. I think for me, I studied and took exams year after year after year at college and uni, and then accountancy exams, and I did not stop. So academically, I was in a better position because I never got out of that exam taking mindset.
Yeah.
Whereas I think if you have a break and then you try and do it, I can imagine it being that much harder. But yeah, it was really, really hard. I am quite an academic person. I'm quite kind of suited to taking exams, whereas, you know, some really, really, really good accountants are not particularly good exam takers. So then you think it's unfair that they don't maybe qualify when they're great at their job.
Yeah, but there's the thing, some people are like, I don't know if you think of when you go back to school, you just had that guy who didn't have to really revise and would always kind of smash all out. Whereas some people you could see were really kind of slogging it and actually good at what they did, but when it came down to an exam would perhaps melt a little bit or not kind of perform as well as they should. So yeah, I get it. And I guess with kind of the study piece, like some clients we work with actually care about how long it took somebody to qualify and the speed of it. Do you think that matters when you're recruiting, or just do you think people should care about how long it takes someone to qualify?
That's really difficult. I think it depends on maybe the role that you're looking at recruiting for, and some people don't care about qualifications. I think like there's 11 of us in the company and 5 of us are qualified accountants, so it's quite a high ratio of qualified people in a small firm. Yeah. But I love all of what they bring to the table. But then is that because they're qualified or just because they're good at their job? Who knows? They're you know, it shows kind of commitment for people that are qualified, that people are willing to put that level of effort in to get that qualification. And it's hard, you know, if they're willing to do that, then you know that they're willing to persevere and work hard for something. But speed, I don't know, everyone's got their own story. So I think it's important to listen to everybody's story on an individual level and not kind of, you know, pigeonhole people. I'm very interested to know people's story, people's experience, and put together a whole picture of that person. Yeah. And the qualification will just be one aspect of that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting as well, because like the other thing is, like you said then, is like it's not actually just necessarily about, you know, can they sign this off and have they got experience of doing this. It actually does also show the other attributes, like you're saying, in terms of the commitment to finish it. But at the same time, you know, I speak to so many people and I feel terrible because some people, you know, things do come up in life that does interfere. You know, children, they're pretty time consuming. Yeah. Quite expensive also, you know, it's not all businesses will necessarily pay for it either, and you know, there are things to consider as well. But it sounds like actually from your point of view, yes, it's important, but actually the pace is something that is not overly important depending on the story behind it.
I guess sometimes people will say, oh, you know, you shouldn't, it doesn't matter whether someone's qualified or not, and I get it to an extent, but I also think that does sometimes take away from the people that have qualified. Yeah, rather than being negative to someone that hasn't, it's actually being negative to someone that has, and someone who's literally given up, you know, effectively I gave up 7 years of my life for my degree and my ACA qualification to become a chartered accountant. I worked my arse off and I studied so hard to get that. I get what you're saying, it's not all about that, but let's not take away from the people that have got it and have tried really hard and have got that, you know, got those letters after their name, because that's, you know, they deserve the kind of recognition for doing that, like fair play for doing that.
And I guess with that then, putting you on the spot side, would you recommend people to do a formal qualification, whether that's SEMA, ACA, ACCA? Do you think people, if you want to get in finance, obviously it depends on what your aspiration is, but how important do you think it is just generally to having a qualification as such?
It's definitely paved the way for me to get to where I am.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Being an owner of a successful accountancy practice,
yeah.
What do you think, what skills or traits do you think is needed for it to work well? Obviously, you don't have to give away all your secrets, but I mean, is it like things that if someone was listening to this who had the aspiration, what would you kind of be trying to tell them in terms of what to expect?
Expect it to be really hard.
Yeah.
You know, really, really hard. I think people sometimes see the good side of it, you know, like, oh, you know, I'm running this practice and I've got all these staff and these clients and, you know, that's so great. And that's true. But that has come at the expense of a lot of my stress and a lot of hours. And, you know, I think so you've got to be brave, a little bit mental to take that risk, you know. I think you have, because you could just stay employed in a safe environment and not take all that risk. You need to be good at marketing and sales. You need to be a people person, you know. I think if you're a good accountant, that's one thing. That doesn't mean you're necessarily going to run a successful practice. It's probably more important for you to be a people person and be able to sell than it is for you to be a good accountant.
Yeah, it's good. I tell you what, I don't hear many accountants saying it's important to be good at selling. But I think it says a lot though, doesn't it? Because when you are wearing lots of different hats as well, it's not just about putting hats together or whatever. It is having that, being able, you know, people buy from people, and you know, that's why people see your videos and kind of have a bit of a laugh, because people buy into you and they kind of semi-know you before even sending you a message or whatever. So that makes sense. And I suppose not from Smooth point of view, but from your own point of view, Jeri, I suppose kind of longer term, what's your aspiration for the next 3 to 5 years? This really does sound like I'm interviewing you to get really sorry, it's not.
Have I got the job? That's all I know then.
Yeah. I've got some competency-based questions to come, don't worry.
Oh, okay. I'm not going to pass those, sorry. 3 to 5 years, so I think...
Yeah, well, just what you want to get out of it. Just, you know, it doesn't have to be so formal. That sounds really like to the point. Yeah, what are you hoping to get just moving forward?
We're going to grow a lot more. We're going to take on more space, more office space, more staff, many more clients, and more profit. You know, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. I don't want to grow the business if I'm not going to earn more money. So, you know, that's the end goal, is to earn enough money to meet my personal goals in terms of what I want to earn. So I know what they are, because I know what I need to support the lifestyle that I want for my family, and the dream home and all of those kind of things. So I know where I want to be. I need my practice to grow to meet those requirements and meet that level of profit. So that's the plan, really. Makes sense.
It sounds like a logical one, given the way that you guys are growing, and it sounds very achievable. So best of luck with all that.
I hope so.
I'm sure you will. The way that it seems to be growing is going really well, and the new office refit and your book and all that sort of stuff. It's always part of the picture, isn't it? So thanks for just giving us a bit of background, Jeri, just about you. What we want to start doing moving forward, we like just finishing on 3 just stupid questions. They have nothing really related to with what we're doing in advance. So the first one I've got here, this one's a bit serious. Knowing what you know now, what advice would you give to your younger self?
I think planning for growth, okay? Because I've never planned for growth, even up until this point. Next year, I will 100% be planning for growth. I already know what I want to achieve, and it will be strategic next year and tactical. Whereas I've always just ridden the growth wave and just held on for dear life, and literally just been like, you know, like new clients coming at me and new staff and everything, and I'm just trying to keep up. Whereas that won't be the case next year. I know how I want to grow and how much by and everything. So planning for growth. Had I known now then what I know now, I would have not just been like in my garage with my little laptop thinking that's what it was going to be.
Just trying to wing it.
Yeah, I would have been like, no, because in 6 months you're going to need this, in a year's time you're going to need this, in 2 years, etc. And then I would have had it all planned out. for
Have
you.
a plan. Yeah, makes
Have
sense.
a plan. Don't just, like I had no plan. I just quit my job and just literally went for it. No plan.
And the thing about getting all philosophical, and I know no one really cares, but my mum's always said to me as well, is when you've got a plan, everything seems a lot easier. And if you're having a really rubbish time or struggling with COVID or anything like that, as long as you've got a plan, everything just seems a lot more achievable. And it tends to, if you put it on paper as well, you tend to are more likely to achieve it as well. So yeah, that's a good one. Next one is, if cliche this one, if you can invite 3 people over for dinner, dead or alive, who would they be? Not including me.
Oh, damn it.
Why are you laughing?
Yeah, that was clear. That obviously was going to be number 1. Beyonce.
Beyonce.
Obviously.
Okay.
I don't know. Trump, probably. Yeah, let's interview him. And
they can be dead as well. They can be dead as well.
Yeah, they could be dead. Yeah. Oh God. Ryan Reynolds. Just so I stare at him.
Yeah, okay. I didn't think it was going to be for the chat, so.
He doesn't say anything. It's fine.
Fine. And then lastly, Jeri, and I'll leave you to it. What 3 things would you want if you were stranded on a desert island? Really cliche one to finish on.
My children.
Yeah, I felt like I gave you the answer to that one, but yeah, right.
Yeah, of course, always them. My phone.
Yeah, yeah.
And some nice food. I don't know, a food item of some description.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Just so once it's eaten, it's gone.
A continuous supply of food.
All right. So basically, just like
a servant to bring me everything I want, including food. There we go.
Fine, lovely. Well, we'll take that. Thanks, Jeri. Like, I really appreciate it. Hopefully, this will help you share it. That some people just get a bit of an idea, kind of your journey, where you got to where you have now. So, thanks for sharing a bit of your time, and yeah, have a good day.
No worries. See you later.
Cheers, Jeri.